Welcome to Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box. Where in your life are you able to think outside the box? Possibly in your personal relationships, maybe group settings, possibly school, even in your professional or personal life. There are many ways that you're able to think outside the box, angels. And when you're willing to think outside the box, you have new experiences in your life. I am Heather Buzzard of Buzzard's Corner of Love, bringing people back to themselves where we uplift and inspire you to become who you truly came here to be. Angels, we are continuing on our journey of patience as we talk about today patience in relationships. And it is so ironic. Every topic that I speak about, I be about. I have acquired and remembered a lot of patience these past few weeks, using it in my life, personally, out in the world, being with others. And it's been an interesting experience. Some I've succeeded and had a big smile, and others, angels, I've just said, oh, goodness, Heather, you need to work on that. Yet it's a give and take. It's ebb and flow. That is what life is about. Angels, grab your favorite drink. Today we're drinking sweet tea. Grab your favorite drink, take a sip of that, sit back and relax. I enjoy sweet tea. It reminds me of Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I was first introduced to sweet tea. Patience in relationships. Angels, speaking, sharing grace for others, to others, and with others, and how that benefits you in the long run. Patience is a form of love. Were you aware of that? We have patience with our children. Most people have patience with their children. Yet, do we have patience with older adults? Do we have patience with teenagers? Do we have patience with elders? Think about that. Patience is a form of love. And if we were to look at the world today, we don't have that patience because we live in such an instantaneous society with technology where everything is now, now, now. And I have put myself in that too because I think that things are supposed to happen now. Yet patience is the way that the universe works. It's an ebb and flow. Think about that. If the universe gave you everything you desire right now, would you really be able to handle it? I know I wouldn't. So I am glad that the universe has patience and that I'm able to use that patience in my life so that I can flow at a better pace. How can you use patience in your life? Grace and kindness invites empathy, forgiveness, understanding, especially when you feel that it's undeserved. And angels, I know what I speak of because when I was walking my dark night of the soul, when I first started out on this journey, I had a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of not knowing why my life was the way that it was. And in order for me to be here back then, I had to be willing to forgive, even though I didn't understand it and I didn't feel that they deserved it. Yet, in order to free myself, which I understand completely now, that forgiveness has to take place. So, in order for you to forgive yourself or someone in your life, you have to be willing to let go, whether you feel they deserve it or even yourself deserves it, because that is the only way freedom comes. I'm a living testimony of it. But yet it's worth it because you get that freedom, angels. The benefits for you is when you're entering empathy, the benefits are safety and trust. And I look at that in my own life. I'm like, well, I don't really show a lot of empathy. Yet that isn't true because in order for me to be standing in this space, again, angels, I've had to show empathy with myself, my situation, my choices, even with others in my life that have crossed my path, whether I was aware of it or not. And it does build safety and trust in the unseen energies. And I tell you, angels, when you're willing to truly 100% trust that unseen energies, the sky is the limit. And it also offers safety and trust in relationships. And you may say, well, how is that? Well, when you have safety and trust with the Most High, knowing that we are all part of that energy, when you are in relationship with another, they're going to vibrate at the level that you are at the energy level that you are at. So if you're one that has safety and trust yourself, then that is what you will bring into your experience. Again, living testimony of it. And if you aren't, then you will bring that into your experience as well, because I've experienced that too. It reduces your stress and anxiety. Patience reduces stress and anxiety. And I had to look at that in my own personal life. And like I said, I can be a person that expects everything to be right now because I know that in the spiritual realm, it's already complete. And sometimes it's a difficult challenge for me to understand that it isn't right here, right now, that it takes time to get here in this dimension. And I tell you, angels, I have had a lot of stress and anxiety because of my expectations of having it now. Just think, if we were to lay down our expectations and our what ifs and all of our doubt, how would we experience life? I asked myself that question. And I said, are you willing to lay down what you can't control? And I've said, yes, I am. And I tell you, angels, since I have been willing to lay down what I can't control and flow with what is, it does lower my stress, my anxiety. You feel better. You just feel better. You feel good about who you are. Angels, when you reduce your stress and anxiety and you let go of resentment, it grudges physically and emotionally draining. When you hold grudges and anxiety, that is a physical and emotional drain. So if you ever wonder why you're so tired, ask yourself if you're allowing yourself to be drained emotionally and physically by hanging on to things that no longer serve you. We can't go back and change the past. We only have control of what is now because we aren't in the future. So the only point of control in our life, angels, is what we have in this moment. So what are you choosing to think? What you think and what you speak is what you create. So when you're willing to let go of resentment, judgment, anxiety, it boosts your self esteem. You feel better about who you are. I tell you that, angels, I'm a living testimony of it. Happiness is real. And you laugh with life. Do you think you could laugh with life? Because we see so much negative. Yet I am here to tell you, I laugh at life because I know that life and all of what's happening really are illusions, and that I choose to put my trust, my faith, my belief in the unseen energies. And that cements me on this earth walk that I am on. So when you're happy, you do acts of kindness, just random acts of kindness. Buy the coffee and the guy's behind you in the drive-through. Pick up a tab for maybe somebody in the grocery store. Get a church member some groceries. Take them somewhere that they may need to be. Kindness just happens to flow out of you. And that's really one thing that I've been able to experience, angels, because my minister at the church that I attend gave me the responsibility or the opportunity to be able to feed people on Wednesdays when we go there for meditations. And so I've been able to share my love and what it is that I have with my church family. And that does make me feel good because me being a single woman and not having children in the home, it gives me a way to share my love. So think about that. Random acts of kindness. It is possible. Also, angels, when you're able to show grace with yourself or even with others, did you know your brain releases Feel-good chemicals. It releases serotonin chemicals, which comes from sex as well, and it releases oxytocin, which is a feel-good energy, and it creates a positive feedback loop in your mind. And I tell you, I listen to a lot of positive spiritual music. And that is so true about that positive feedback loop, because that is all that I hear consistently in my mind now. It's the music that I sing with. I hear these positive affirmations that I listen to, and it does create that positive feed loop if you're willing to work with your consciousness. You have to be willing to work with your consciousness. And it doesn't happen overnight, yet it does happen. And angels, with the fact that time has collapsed and we've entered new portals and new dimensions, things won't take as long as they used to because time was slower back then. Also, angels, it reduces depression. How much depression is in this world? Have you ever been depressed? I know I have. I've experienced depression in my life, and it does not feel good, especially when you're depressed and you're isolated. Then you really have cut yourself off from the world. Yet, spirit is still there for you, I guarantee. And if you're willing to allow yourself to do some deep breathing, some meditation, and take what we're saying here and apply it in your life, that depression energy will lift off of you. Again, I'm a walking testimony. It's been years back since I've had, no, I can't even say that, about even 4 years ago that I've had depression in my life. And I didn't have to, I chose to walk up out of it. And I chose to dig deep within myself and connect with spirit. And I tell you, angels, that was the only way that I got up out of that, because there was nothing that anybody on the outside could do for me. I had to do it for myself. I guarantee it. Also, angels, when you reduce depression, it combats, like I said, feelings of isolation and rumination, and it helps lessen the intensity or depressive episodes that you have in your life. When you're able to focus on something happy and you can laugh, whether it be at cartoons, comedians, whatever it may be, laughter is a great way to stir your joy up. And we need joy in this world, angels, because of what is happening. And if you're willing to allow your joy to be stirred, believe me, it's a contagious energy, and others in your space will feel that. As you have increased empathy and compassion for yourself, and you're practicing kindness and grace toward yourself, angels, I guarantee you that you will feel it in your life. And you will have those experiences in your life. And when you have them in your life, it will show back to you exactly what that choice did for you. And you have to have patience. No, you don't have to. You can choose to have patience with yourself, because in having patience with yourself while you walk this path helps you walk it easier. I can tell you, there was a time in my life when I would be angry, upset, depressed, mad at myself because I felt I didn't get these spiritual principles. Don't do that to yourself, angels. That only blocks your growth. Instead, allow yourself empathy, allow yourself compassion, give yourself the opportunity to say, okay, tomorrow's a new day. I can begin again. Or give yourself the opportunity to say, in 10 minutes, I'll start again in a different frame of mind. It is all up to you, because you are the one that is truly writing your story. And I tell you, angels, the more that I speak about these things, the more I understand it in my life, the more that I am using what I am talking about and applying it in my life, and it works. I will share with you. When my brother was out here a few weeks ago, last month actually, he was out here. He came out here and he got up and we walked. And I shared this with you before. I hadn't walked because I had a car, so why walk unless I had to get out of the car and go into the store? Yeah, he walked everywhere. And I started walking with him. And he went back to Texas. And I said, you know what, Heather, keep walking. And angels, I tell you, just the simple act of walking makes you feel good. So if you would like to have some movement in your life, you can dance with life, you can dance in your house, you can walk outside, you can do stretching exercises. All of this releases positive endorphins throughout your body. You feel better, you feel lighter. I know since I've been walking, I've lost weight unintentionally. Yet just by walking, it slims you down. And I tell you, that and swimming are the two best ways to exercise. And if you aren't a swimmer, then you can just put your legs in the water and just let your legs move your legs in the water. You don't necessarily have to get in and swim per se, or you can put on a life jacket and swim that way as well. Yet walking and swimming makes you feel good. Any type of physical activity makes you feel good in your life. So ask yourself where you can put more physical activity into your life so that you can release these positive endorphins. Like we said, sex is a great way to release positive energy, yet society has a taboo against that. So what other ways can you do it? Exercising, laughing, enjoying life, saying positive things to yourself, creating that positive feed loop that we spoke about earlier. Angels, I'm going to share some spiritual principles with you, spiritual reasons as to why patience is so precious in your life. And mind me, I do need my reading glasses as we grow with wisdom. Let's see here. Five reasons for practicing patience in your relationships, angels. The first reason is it reflects unconditional love of a higher power. Many spiritual traditions identify that higher power through its boundless patience. We always say that God has patience with us. Do we have patience with others? Mercy and grace. We say God has mercy and grace. Yet, how much mercy and grace do we have with ourselves or with others? Emulating this patience in your relationships is an act of love. Emulating patience in your relationships with anybody, angels, is an act of love that extends grace to your partner and acknowledges their imperfections. Just as a spiritual entity extends grace for yours and accepts yours. Practicing this forgiveness transforms conflicts into opportunities for growth rather than a source of bitterness. And angels, that's what I have done with my life. Instead of becoming bitter with my life and what happened in my life, I turn those into opportunities to change myself. And I am so blessed and grateful that I did, because today, God and I, standing here, Buzzard's Corner of Love, bringing people back to themselves. I know who I am and whose I am. And if someone says, who are you? I'm a child of God named Heather Christine Buzzard. Who are you? Continue on. The second one. It promotes active waiting and mutual growth. Spiritual patience isn't a passive or inactive energy, yet is an engaged, purposeful practice, angels. Relationships are seasons of growth, and patiently waiting for the full maturation of your partnership shows faith in the process of life. This active waiting means trusting that both you and your partner will continue to develop spiritually and emotionally over time without trying to force or control the outcome. Or if you're waiting on a partner, you can allow the universe to bring that partner to you without trying to control it or force it. And that is what I am choosing to do. And it is a very powerful space to be in, because we think that when there's nothing happening, that nothing's happening. Yet, angels, we can't see beneath the surface. We don't know what's happening in the universe. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. This is where faith, trust, and belief come into play. As we continue on, number 3, it builds humility and self awareness. Spiritual practice helps overcome pride. Pride will kill you. And angels, there was a time in my life where I was pride and I was happy to be prideful. And I wasn't a nice person. Pride will kill you, which often fuels impatience in relationships. When you acknowledge your own flaws, it becomes easier to bear with your partner's shortcomings or other people's shortcomings. And humility shifts the focus from your partner should be doing to what it is that you can be doing and having instead of them. This also leads you to a deeper understanding of your own emotional triggers, and it promotes self-control. And angels, I am a living testimony of this as well, because as I have allowed myself to build humility and self-awareness, I have become aware of my emotional triggers. And when I feel that it may be coming up, then I don't have to allow it to come up, because I can talk to myself and say, you know what? We've been down that road before. We don't need to go there. Let's change the subject. It does work. Number 4, it fosters hope. I like to say love. It fosters love and strengthens emotional bonds. When relationships face trials, patience is a spiritual bridge that turns suffering into love. And I'm going to give you an example, angels. When I was growing up, my parents had patience with me. They had to. That's the only way they made it, through raising me. And that in itself was a sign of love. I didn't realize it then. I understand it today. Also, angels, patience is a spiritual bridge that turns suffering into love. And by patiently enduring challenging times together, you can strengthen that emotional bond and trust between you and whomever that may be. And I had an emotional trusting bond with my father growing up in that house. And I knew I could go to him in my times of confusion, disorientation, not knowing all of that. And he was my rock growing up in that house. And I tell you, angels, when you allow yourself to build perseverance, it takes you beyond immediate gratification, and it roots you into a more committed, shared willingness of outcomes in your life. And the 5th one, it enhances empathy and communication. Spiritual patience allows you to see the other person's perspective with compassion rather than frustration. And that is true, because I've been able to see other people's perspective from a different, with compassion and love instead of judgment and condemnation. And that was a big mountain in my life, angels, because my mother was so judgmental and so condemning. And I took that on, yet I got rid of that too. It creates a safe space for open community by enabling you to listen thoughtfully instead of reacting repulsively, which allows for a more constructive and understanding approach to conflicts, ensuring both that you and the other people are heard and valued as you move through with life. Angels, these are just 5 ways that you can use these spiritual principles in your life and apply it and acquire patience. And I am so thankful to the person out there who asked me, my auntie who asked me to work on this theme of the month of patience, because it has helped me in my life be more patient with myself, with my experiences, with what I am choosing to create in my life, and for what I know is coming. So, angels, there you go. How can you use patience in your relationships? Think about that going forward and ask yourself, do I believe that I'm worthy to receive patience so that I can have a happy, joyful life? That's a question you need to ask and answer. I had to ask that, and I answered that. And that answer is yes. And I know that you too are worthy, or you wouldn't be listening to this. Next week, angels, we're going to continue on with our theme of the month as we continue with patience. And just one moment, we're going to be talking about, I dropped my paper, I apologize. We're going to be talking about cultivating patience through mindfulness and acceptance. Oh, mindfulness, awareness, and acceptance as we wrap up the month on patience. Angels, as you go forth this week, patience. How much patience do you have with yourself? Answer that question, and that's as much patience as you have with others, because you cannot give another what you aren't willing to give yourself. Yet I know, angels, patience is a virtue, it's a blessing, and we all have that gift. So until next week, angels, I am Heather Buzzard, a Buzzard's Corner of Love, bringing people back to themselves.